Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all our scripts. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. The Cream City crossover. The last game of the preseason just concluded. The Dallas Mavericks beat down the Milwaukee Bucks 109-84. Getting a lot of guys out, but that's okay. The Bucks, there's a lot to get into, to talk about with the Bucks. And again, at this point, this is a tune-up for the regular season. Like I said, Giannis out, no Brook, no Bobby, no Dame. Dame on the bench eating popcorn. And you want to see some things from the Young Bucks. Didn't see him. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. But yeah, it's the Cream City crossover. It's the Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Justin.
There we go. In the building. We'll have Chris for the opener, for the season opener next Wednesday against the Philadelphia 76ers. But fellas, I mean, we'll start this one off with what we saw. And we'll do a really quick game recap. I'm not going to harp too much on what we saw from the Bucks tonight, shorthanded. But it was disappointing. You look at the Bucks, 109-84. The Dallas Mavericks beat down the Bucks. And I'll start with Dallas. Kyrie Irving was clearly the best player on the floor tonight. 14 points, 2 boards, 2 assists in about 19 minutes of action. My boy, Quentin Grimes, with 10 rebounds. Hustle guy all over the floor, 1.4 assists. You had Gafford with 11 points. Klay Thompson, who was stinking it up a little bit, couldn't hit the side of a barn. He had a stretch where, he had a corner three where he looking at the bench. But Klay Thompson does finish off 11.6 boards, 4 of 11, 3 of 7 from 3. Derek Lively almost got a double-double, 10 points, 9 rebounds. And then Jalen Hardy with 11 points as well. And then your boy Omax, I know you want to talk about him, Justin. He put in some work. And then on the Bucks side of things, A.J. Johnson, 0 for 11, fellas. 0 for 11, no points, 3 boards, 8 assists. He was, explosive, but a minus 22, 0 points. Gary Trent Jr. looked good, 12 points tonight. Tyler Smith, 7 points, 10 boards. Torrin Prince, 5 points. I thought he played pretty well. 18 had 11 points, 8 boards. Pat Connaughton with 8 points. AJ Green, 3 points. And then Marjon Beauchamp chipped in 8 points. As well for the Bucks, but they don't get it done, 109-84. And I'll just say this from an observation standpoint before we move on. Again, I'm not going to harp too much on the actual game. I was disappointed, not in the final score, because again, the goal of the preseason is what, JT?
No injuries.
No injuries. And
no injuries. Give guys some burn that usually don't. See what they got. That's it.
So that was mission accomplished. No injuries tonight in the preseason, and I'm okay with that. I'm all good with that. My issue was to your second point or whatever you said, second or third there, JT. Get a young boy some burn, and that's what they got. Young boys got burn. AJ Johnson got 33 minutes tonight. AJ Green got 16 minutes tonight. Andre Jackson Jr. got 13 minutes tonight. He had 0 points. Marjon Beauchamp had 13 minutes tonight, 8 points. Chris Livingston he only played 5 minutes in the game with 2 points. My issue with what happened with the young players tonight, and my problem with it was they had an opportunity, they didn't do much with it, and from that standpoint, the other thing I didn't like, again, in 109-84 score, it doesn't matter, but you can't go out there and give up. This was your opportunity to play. And regardless of you're playing against Kyrie Irving on the other side, you got Derek Lively on the other side, you got Klay Thompson on the other side. They're getting Jason Kidd's getting these guys to tune up, ready to play, ready to get ready for the regular season. You have that opportunity, and I thought at the beginning of the game, first 6-7 minutes, the Bucks played admirably, and then after that, you can't give up. You can't. The Bucks played basically rec ball for the last three and a half quarters of that basketball game. That I did not like. Again, score, I don't care, but you can't go out and play rec ball. You can't go out and not defend. You can't go out and just turn the ball over at will. That I didn't like, and it looked like the Bucks were unorganized. I get it, a bunch of young guys in, but it didn't look like Doc Rivers had a not a game plan, but just your regular stuff. It didn't look like the Bucks were running anything. Didn't look like they had anything going, and so that I was disappointed in. But again, it's 109-84. Score doesn't matter. I'm okay with it, but I do have some questions about the young boys based upon what I saw tonight. That's what I saw, JT. What'd you see?
Look, context is everything, right? And I think you hit it on the head here. The Bucks didn't run any of their horses; they just didn't. Whereas the Mavericks ran just about all their horses, not named Luka. So that's one thing that you got to think about. But I was happy after that first quarter. I said, man, these young boys out here, they fighting. They fighting. They was up. They was up 22-21 after that first quarter. I said, hey, here we go. And even through a lot of that second quarter, and in the last few minutes of that second quarter, it seems like the wheels started falling off, and they opened up. They opened up a bit of a lead there in the halftime. Gary Trent Jr., I agree with you. I thought he looked good. I thought he came out to compete tonight. I mean, in that first half, I said, man, this is the guy. Hey, this is the guy in line going to play right next to Dame during the regular season. I like it. That second half, I mean, I'm not really sure. What I don't get is I think you had a lot of guys who just had an opportunity and maybe they were tired, maybe they were flat, maybe they were just over it. I'm not really sure. But I think there's a lot of guys that left a lot in the tank. And at the end of the day, this roster may look different by the time this regular season starts, or maybe in that first month. But I think a lot of these guys that we saw playing tonight, they may want to get ready to get reassigned to the herd.
Hey, man.
I mean, what?
Sorry. I can't. I'm not laughing at you, JT. I'm laughing at the boy Daniel in the chat, man, talking about he'll trade Pat for a Diddy party invite. Like, that's crazy.
Whoa,
like,
whoa.
We 2 seconds in the joint and Daniel going crazy off the rip.
Sir,
shout out to
you
dude.
Do not want that invitation. Listen,
Lord,
man, I'm gonna tell you. Daniel, I'm gonna tell you why you don't want a Diddy party invitation. Because when you get the Diddy party invitation, you're gonna show up and you're gonna be the only one there. That ain't the party you want to go to. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there when you get that Diddy party invitation and you showing up and you walking in. Oh wait, hold on, and it's just P Diddy there.
That is just P Diddy there.
No sir. P Diddy gonna hit you. Y'all remember y'all know who Columbus Short is?
Oh yeah.
He said Diddy hit him on some like, yeah, hey, come party with me. I'm in the hotel. And so he was like, oh, who all there? He's like, oh, it's just me. He was like, it was like 3 a.m. Yeah, Daniel, that's not the invitation you want, brother.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel for taking us off the rails like first 2 minutes into this joint, man. I couldn't even think about my statement. But hey, man, I saw a lot of bad stuff, man. I saw a lot of lack of effort, man. This is the thing. Guys that are on the bench, this is your time to excel and to ball. Only guy I really saw balling was like my boy Roberts, Liam, Vanderbilt guy, rookie. Yeah. I love that kid, man. Free the mullet, let that boy hoop. But some of these guys, I got to see more from you. But I agree with both of you brothers that Gary Trent Jr., he did his thing tonight. He did what he was supposed to do. I was excited about that. But, hey, I can't. One thing you can't teach is effort. And I saw a lack of effort tonight. And I didn't see any dogs from these guys. And I need some of these guys to step up because, God forbid, but it's the NBA. It's a long season. Somebody gets hurt. We need you to get inserted into that lineup. So you got to go. And we'll see, man. I'm excited to be on the post game with you brothers again, though. And man, Wednesday is for real though. So let's go.
It's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a fun season this year. The Milwaukee Bucks again. Hit us up on the in the YouTube chat. Hit me up on Twitter. We'll read your tweets as well at TCIIIESQ. And yeah, so we'll read a couple right now. Like I said, well, Daniel, you were off the rip. Jake says Daniel must not be a Bucks fan. You keep spreading negativity. Doc, it's fine. It's only the preseason. Lakers run it down. Mid says I don't care if it's preseason. You play to win the game. And again, preseason, and Jake comes back and says, no, you play to watch the young guys and make sure your superstars don't get hurt. We talked about that as well. So again, good stuff all over the place there related to what you're looking for, what you want to see. I'm gonna change the topic here just a bit and get out of the actual game and ask you guys were you satisfied with the preseason as a whole? And so we can take it out of the context of this game against the Dallas Mavericks. And I want to take it to what you saw from the Milwaukee Bucks as a team, as a group, as a unit. And this will kind of transition into the next topic, which is the rotation. And I guess where I go with that and what I look at is I don't know. I go back to the young guys. And I look at like an AJ Johnson. We had a conversation off air, Justin, about does it make sense to him and Oshkosh or him, up with the big boys, and we'll talk about that. But what I notice is my concern for the regular season is what did we talk about all last year on every post game show. It didn't have to be a post game. Just anybody with the Milwaukee Bucks talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. They need to get younger. They need to get more energy. They're getting beat back in transition. That happened when Adrian Griffin was here. That happened when Doc was here. You're getting beat back in transition. You're not running. Oh, they're old. They're slow. Well, the Bucks didn't. Did they really address any of that? And again, I'll give it to you. Gary Trent Jr., DeLon Wright, and Taurean Prince. They're going to help in those situations, but they're just better players. I don't necessarily think of Gary Trent, Taurean Prince, and DeLon Wright as like youthful, energetic, like running all over the gym. I'm gonna make sure I'm maximum effort, maximum. I don't necessarily think of them. Now again, Taurean Prince had some really nice defensive plays. He's had some throughout the entire preseason. But I'm just talking about the guy you don't equate any of those guys with a effort. Like I'm just gonna throw out like a Thanasis, like a PJ Tucker. We talked about it. Like those type of guys that are just I don't care what's going on. We're all over the floor. I don't see that. And again, the closest guy we had to that was, from a young perspective, was Andre Jackson Jr. And it doesn't look like he's not cracking the top 9 based on what I saw in the preseason. He's not cracking it. AJ Johnson, again, springy. I got a lot of sauce in his game. He not cracking no rotation no time soon. He's not ready. Again, he can get to anywhere he wants to get on the floor. He can't finish. He can't shoot. So and again, I see the talent, but he's a work in progress. You really, again, you look at your starting 5. You look at coming off the benches, Bobby Portis, and then it's going to be Taurean Prince, most likely. And then you're talking about Pat Connaughton. You're talking about Pat Connaughton coming into the game. You're talking about DeLon Wright coming to the game. You did not address getting younger, more youthful, more energetic. Because again, I don't see Chris, the other young guy, all of hustle guy, Chris Livingston. He ain't cracked. He can't play. He got 5 minutes in the last preseason game where no starters played. They're not. I'm just trying to figure out. I guess that's my only question. I'm not. And again, my voice is elevated, but I'm not sounding any panic alarms. I'm just saying you didn't address one of your major glaring concerns last year, in my opinion. And from the preseason, I didn't see that's going to carry out into the regular season.
No, I would agree, and I think that's what we were all looking for was who from the young guys was going to go ahead and force their way into this rotation. And keep in mind, you have the injury to Chris right now, so you have an extended opportunity for somebody else to get some burn and get out there and play because Chris is going to be out. I think he's out indefinitely right now, right?
No, Chris is Chris is actually. They reported tonight that it looks like they expect him to be back for the opener against Philly, which I think is crazy. Sorry, Coach, but it's so funny because I see people taking like doing dunks. Chris, see, nobody should be. Chris Milton's back. Nobody should be worried. Y'all are that you taking a victory lap because he's expected to play in the opener. That I expect he should. That's what I want. There's no victory. Yes, thank you. Please get on the floor. There ain't no victory lap because he managed to. They're like, oh, we got to take a victory lap because he managed to make the court in the first game. That's ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So are they going to do the ramp up thing or not? Like, do we know?
I don't know either.
Right. Okay. So all right. So basically, not out indefinitely, but we don't know if he's going to be playing his usual minutes. We don't know. But I guess my point is, you would think from a logical perspective that there's going to be an opportunity there. There's 100% going to be an opportunity for young guys to kind of step in, get some play, get some burn, some young fresh legs here. At least early in the season, and probably in the middle of the season too, because we did talk about the Bucks being one of the older teams in the NBA and needing fresh legs. But the problem is how do you rest those guys when you don't have reliable backups? When you don't have young guys that come in and know their role and come in and contribute. And you're right, Andre Jackson Jr. was one of them, and I'm not worried about what I saw from him in the preseason because I think Andre Jackson Jr. showed us last year he's a dog. He's gonna get out there, and I think he's gonna compete. But everybody else, I think you do have questions here. And one thing that I think coming out of this preseason is you have more questions than answers when it comes to the young guys. So is it rational to think that maybe Horst makes a move here? Maybe this is not the roster going into Wednesday.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, make a trade before the season starts. Like
not like for a star or anything, but yeah, maybe you make a trade. Like maybe you cut somebody. Maybe you do. I
think MarJon. I don't know. Well, to your point, so that's where you're going with it. I don't know that MarJon makes his basketball team. I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm just saying I don't know that at all. I would, if you told me tomorrow that they cut Marjan or I wouldn't be surprised. Or they got rid of him in summer, I would not be surprised.
So I think the thing that we miss in the preseason is we miss the 5-on-5s that we can't see in practice and stuff like that. I think hopefully what I'm hoping is that a lot of these young guys look a lot better on the practice floor than what they do in the game. But going back to like the game tonight, man, you can't have a lack of effort. Like in this league, if you want to get into this rotation, you cannot take nights off. You haven't arrived. There's no one on that floor tonight, with the exception of maybe Gary Trent Jr. and Pat Connaughton, who's arrived as a legit NBA player, in my opinion. That's why I like the Roberts kid so much, man, because he looks like he's carpe diem. He's going to seize the moment. He's going to go out and he's going to get a bucket, a rebound, a loose ball. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to do it. And, man, we need to get some branded merch for that dude. Free the mullet, man. Like, I remember them Baylor boys beating up on my Badgers, man. Free the mullet. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm not concerned with anything going into this joint. Like, this whole regular season is practice to me. I'm just ready for that playoff run. Like, you can fast forward me to April already. Go ahead and give Jordan Love a ring and, get the Brewers, all these free agents we need to see. Let's go to Bucks postseason, and let's get ready to have a parade in my city like John Morant says.
2 points. One to you, JT, where you mentioned that you knew that Ajax is a dog. And we do know that. But my question is based on what I've seen in the preseason. I have no indication that Doc Rivers is going to crack the rotation. So I know that I agree with you. I know he's going to come in when he gets an opportunity. I know he's going to come in, and I know that he will provide a spark and probably provide some energy. But has he improved? Has he improved at all outside of being an energy guy that runs up the floor? And I just haven't seen it. And then I forgot my second point to you, but I just haven't seen it with Ajax just yet. I just haven't seen it.
Ajax is a national. My bad.
No, you.
Ajax is a national champion. He's proved it on a collegiate level, so he gonna come out and he gonna show us what it is. Sorry, John.
And he gave us great minutes. He had some good moments last year. He certainly did, and I thought he was a great role player last year. He's a guy that's going to get out there and dive for loose basketballs and elbows and get physical and get everybody fired up and go ahead and get a momentum change in play. Like, I mean, I like what he's done. Now, to your point, Trey, I guess the question is, that was good enough as a rookie. Is that good enough as a sophomore? Is that good enough as a second-year guy? Because that was good enough as a rookie, because you got to get it where you can fit it. And I get it. There's so many different changes, adaptations. Keep in mind, he was a rookie. He went through a coaching change in the middle of the season too, right? Like, so there's a lot there. But, I think based off what he sees, you can trust him to play some minutes. You can trust him to crack the rotation. I think you can do that. But I haven't said it. Some of these other young guys, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, because we thought we knew what we had in a guy like AJ Green, and he has not performed the way that you would expect him to perform in the preseason either. And Pat Connaughton has looked like the better player. Remember, they were balanced minutes. It was like, AJ Green should definitely play over Pat Connaughton. If you're just looking through the preseason, again, to your point, Justin, I don't know what's happening in 5. I don't know what's happening in practice. But if you look at when the lights are on, the cameras on, and the eye in the sky don't lie, the better player in the preseason has been Pat Connaughton. We'll see what that looks like from Doc Rivers and what he wants to do. But again, I have questions on all these young boys right now, and because I just have not seen the level of improvement that I want to see. I hate to be negative, but that's what I'm looking at.
So with Ajax, with that collegiate team, right? He wasn't the best player on the floor there, but I felt like he was a gadget guy, and he found his way, and he found a way to contribute. So. And I mean, I know the collegiate game doesn't transition to the NBA game. There's tons of guys who were collegiate, the greatest player on the floor, a la my beloved Badgers, Kaminsky and Decker, can't sniff an NBA court, right? Like, I think Kaminsky's having another run with the Suns again, I believe. He has an NFL kicker number right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you're not going to be here. But I just feel like Ajax is going to find a way on this team. The thing that I want to see from my boy Marjan, though, because I know there's a lot of your boy in the chat going crazy, man. Marjan. He going crazy, man. Marjan, and both of you brothers play football, so you get it. You get them dudes that step off the bus and they look like them players and they get on the field and they baby food. Marjan looks like a player stepping off that bus. You got to transition this to the court. Doc's a veteran coach, so I don't know if these dudes going to get run at all. And like your previous point on the other topic, Trey, Livingstone not touching the floor? That's
right.
Alarming to me.
In a preseason game.
We got a ton of athleticism on this bench that can't touch the floor.
In a preseason game where nobody plays, he played 5 minutes. I almost don't understand it, but again, that goes to what is he doing those 5-on-5s? What is he doing in practice? I really don't. I just don't. I don't understand it. John Hassel says Tyler Smith could be good because he can shoot at 6'9". I will say Tyler Smith to me was a bright spot. I'm not gonna lie. AJ Johnson was a bright spot. Again, he has deficiencies. He's just a raw talent. Tyler Smith, again, another guy. I think he got to be bigger, stronger on the inside. But yeah, if he gets the shot going, I like his game too. I do like his game. It's not rotation ready now. And again, that question is Doc Rivers going to allow the young boys to play and get out there and do their thing? Even is he going to allow them to play through mistakes? Because that's what you have to do. If you're going to play AJ Johnson, if you're going to play Andre Jackson Jr., if you're going to play even a Marjan Beauchamp or Tyler Smith, are you going to allow them to play through their mistakes and really not care about the regular season? And going back to, again, I don't want to rehash it, but I will. I said it off air. You better be. What was Adrian Griffin's record before he got fired, JT?
Like 33-13, something like that.
33. You better be 34-12, Doc. You better be 34-12. I'm gonna have some problems. I'm gonna ask some questions if you're not 34-12.
Well, I think the biggest thing, or maybe it was 31-13. I don't know, something like that. At the end of the day, though, I certainly think that if you're Doc, you talk about it, you let the young boys play through mistakes. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to, especially if you got to keep your starters fresh, and you need to give these guys rest. You got to give these guys minutes. You don't want to run your team into the ground, having all your starters playing all their minutes, up until March. Like you just don't want to do that. Like so you're gonna have to trust these guys. You're gonna have to grow, but these guys are either gonna have to step up, or you got to get some folks in there that can go ahead and get some run. Because I agree with you. What you can't do is be 500 at the All-Star break. That's not gonna work. That is a problem, right? So
let's take this conversation. We really have been on the young guys, but let's take this conversation to the guys that are actually going to play. And that is where my tone and my tenor does change a bit. I see somebody in the on Twitter at T from Franklin says everyone needs to calm down. Let's get 10 games in before we all panic. I'm not panicking about the regular. Now again, I have a lot of questions about the young guys. I do have a lot of questions about the young guys. The top dogs, the big time horses. I don't have questions about Giannis, Dame. Well, I'll do some questions about Dame and what Dame's going to do because he didn't do it in the regular season. He did it in the postseason. Didn't do what I want him to do in the regular season. But I feel confident in what I'm going to get from Damian Lillard. I feel confident what I'm going to get from Giannis. And even Chris, when these guys are healthy, like your top 7 guys, 8 even, you should feel good about those guys. And that I do. I feel like this is a totally different team. This team has improved. From a defensive standpoint, Gary Trent Jr. as well as Taurean Prince, they should provide some of that, that defensive energy, that defensive prowess that we were looking for, that wasn't there at times last year. So I do feel, like I said, I feel really good about those guys as long as they're able to stay healthy. I guess really if you had question marks in your lineup for those top guys, again, the new guys, how do they transition in? Your questions, how do Damian Lillard and Giannis play off each other? And then is Bobby Portis going to play defense? Is he going to give you the defense he needs? And then Brook Lopez, because again, we know he keeps teetering on the edge of mid-30s, and what is it going to look like? He has done well for himself. But guys inevitably always kind of fall off at some point. Does Brook Lopez reach that point again? Start of the season, I think he's looked good in the preseason, shooting the ball well, and that's what you want to continue to see. But what do you think about all those things related to the Bucks? And then you look at the Eastern Conference, and where do you think things go from that point when you look at a Philadelphia, Boston, even the New York Knicks, who think that they are poised and primed for a championship run?
I'm just gonna say this, and I wish somebody else would say this. I think Shaq showed the Bucks some love here. But I'm gonna get the elephant in the room here. I think a lot of your NBA analysts, and I say that in air quotes, right? Because you got to really wonder how much analyzing they're doing. But I think a lot of NBA analysts are saying that they're not looking at the Bucks. They're not looking. Didn't somebody pick the Bucks to finish 7th, 6th, or 7th? Something crazy. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's
Tim
wild
Legler.
to me. Say what?
Tim Legler.
Right. And it's wild to me.
That's crazy.
It's wild to me because two things can be true. The Bucks are arguably the most talented team in the East, and the Bucks have massively underachieved for the last 2 years. Right? Two things can be true here. But I don't see how you don't have the Bucks still as one of the favorites in the East, because when this team is healthy, this team is an absolute buzzsaw. And what's interesting to me is the NBA players, the players all know they don't want to see Milwaukee. I don't care how much Indiana pounds their chest trying to act like they do. They don't want to see a healthy Milwaukee team. Nobody wants to see a healthy Milwaukee team. Not in that first round, and definitely not in that second round. So it's just a little bit interesting because this is the first year where us as Bucks fans, we know how good this team is, and we know what our expectations are. And there's nobody in this chat. There's nobody listening on Twitter. Nobody's going to be satisfied with just making the playoffs. Like, nobody's going to be satisfied with just winning the first round, even though this team has not done that in the last 2 years. So we're in a weird spot right now when you think about this team, because a lot of analysts, a lot of national publications aren't talking about the Bucks as being a contender. But we all kind of know what the situation is, and we know that this healthy Bucks team can win the East, or at the least compete with Boston.
So that phrase I learned when I moved to the South, say it louder for the people in the back, JT. Like, if you sleeping on the Bucks, we want you to
church. We going to church. We going to church. Hey, somebody got an organ? Who got that organ? We going to church. Man.
Put in the F flat.
Look, if you sleeping on the Bucks, we want you to stay asleep. Keep talking bad about Bobby. Keep talking bad about Giannis. He's not the best player in the game. His joker is Luka. It's all these guys. Middleton's 61, Dame's 24, blah, blah, blah. Hey, all you're doing is giving these guys who are legit dogs bulletin board material. So I see your trade, Knicks. That's cool. I like Cat. I think he's a great basketball player. The problem is who he's stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the Sixers. Paul George already hurt.
Yep.
Embiid won't play back-to-back ever in his career again.
Yep.
I'm not worried about them. And we're not even going to mention that boy from Oshkosh B'gosh.
Front runner.
I don't know, man. I think the Bucks are in a great position, man. You want to be the one that's less talked about. Boston's going to be legit. There's a lot of teams out here will be legit, and we'll get some type of surprise team out of here somewhere. It'll be your Atlanta Hawks, your Miami Heat, Orlando Magic. Somebody will come up that isn't supposed to be there. It happens every year. But I think if this team can stay the course and stay healthy, it's a parade in my city. Shout out to John Morant, but not really, though, because we don't like you, though, in Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, I echo a lot of that. And again, this Bucks team, they are going to be the underdogs this year, under the radar. I agree with you. I think that's where you want to be. There was a question in the chat about what they thought about the Giannis. And I'm sure you saw the article where Giannis came out and said that, if they didn't win, he would be traded. And it was crazy. I hate, what is it, Legion? Whoever put it, the media sites that used that quote he was. I mean, the entire article was a joke. Like it was not. I'm gonna say the entire article was a joke, but Giannis was clearly being facetious. He's telling jokes in the article. Like he pulled a staffer to the side and was like, "Hey, if we don't win, you think you getting fired?" Like it was. He was playing around again. Now, is there an element of? Let me ask you this. Is there an element? I don't think, again, trading, people get fired, and then people might get fired, but an element of truth to the stakes being high this year? Oh, 100%. Now, and if the Bucks don't get out of the second round, if they do lose, oh, there might be some people to get traded. Like, you can't run back Chris Middleton. You cannot run him back if you don't get out the second round. I don't think. Something's got to change. Brook Lopez, something's got to change. I don't think it's going to be Giannis. But I think but to the point, people have really taken that quote out of context. You have to stay in context with stuff. And no, I don't think he was being, I think he was, Giannis he jokes a lot. He's a joking kind of guy, giving you dad jokes, all that kind of stuff. So I try to stay above some of that. But do you think this was? Let me ask you, because we thought that last year, John, we thought that Damian Lillard had some missteps with how he talked to the media, leaving Giannis off the top five. What top five people you wanted to play with? Could that have been an honest mistake? Was it serious? Was it not? Who knows? But it was a bad look because that's your teammate. We talked about this one, where the two guys they didn't play together over the summer. It could be nothing, should be nothing. But if Giannis and Dame don't look like they're gelling together on the floor, don't you think people are gonna come back to that quote and go, maybe they should have played together in the offseason. Why did they get together and work out? Like, people are going to come back to that. And that's one thing. Do you think that, I get it, it was a joke, it wasn't serious, but could it come back to be a talking point to people, that bites them if the Bucks don't perform the way that we all know they could and should?
So I'm gonna kick this one to Justin first because I got a few thoughts of a macro issue here. Or on a macro level, there's a bigger problem here. But I'm going to kick this one to Justin first.
I think that what we've seen in this day and age of sports, no matter what sport you're looking at, man, and not to pivot to another thing, but would I ever thought I would see Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers traded? Would I ever thought I'd see Ray Allen traded from the Bucks? Would I ever see insert your Brewer, insert whatever player? Would I ever see Karl Anthony Towns traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the New York Knicks? Never. So nothing would shock me. But if we're not seeing the mayor of Milwaukee traded, and when we open up the season, I'll make sure I put my underdog stuff on because I'm the biggest Bobby Porter's homer in the building. I'm Team Bobby.
Card? You got him on your debit card. You got Bobby on your money.
I think Trey voted for him for governor of North Carolina, but we'll keep going.
Mark Robinson, your boy, Mark.
Hey,
Mark,
I got to tee you up, JT.
All right. Well, look, I think so. One thing about these trade rumors, and this, I think Milwaukee fans are tired of this too. National media has done this for the last 20-something years. They did it with LeBron James out of Cleveland. Oh, he's going to go to a bigger market. He's going to a bigger market. And LeBron James goes right on down to Miami, small market, then goes right on back to Cleveland, another small market. It eventually ends up in L.A., right? So whatever speculation they had for, 14 years, okay, they were eventually right on that. They did this, but they have done this. They're starting it up with your boy, Victor. They started it up with Webby. Oh, he's going to be leaving there in a couple of years. They do this all, and look, Victor's in San Antonio right now, and I don't know what's in San Antonio. I'm guessing rodeo, steaks, Riverwalk, right? The Alamo Dome, if you want to go walk around that thing. I don't know. Those of y'all, the young boys is listening. I'm guessing San Antonio's back page was popping, but I don't know. It's been a long time since we went down that road on backpage.com.
This show. So, yo, what's happening?
Bruh,
go ahead.
Backpage.com.
I don't know about it. I never seen it.
I'm talking about 10 years ago, Backpage.com. Focus on Backpage.
I don't know what that is, man.
Listen, I don't know much about Backpage either, but I got friends who talk about Backpage.com. My point, though, is that
it's preseason, folks.
my point is that they've done this, and they speculate. So they do this all the time. They've done this in Milwaukee. They've been writing stories about Giannis has not been happy. Nobody's ever identified a source or anything. Nobody's ever heard him say this on record. Nobody's ever willing to go on record. This is just a fetish that I think the national media has.
Man, you
Let's
all over the
speculate.
place with this.
Listen, it is because they want to speculate
the
on
words you're using
players.
with the back page. My God, you fetish back. You're on one.
I mean, you can say, but you get my point. My point is, national media always. Well, I had another word I was going to use, but I was definitely going to get called, so I'm gonna stop with my adjectives. My synonyms. I ain't gonna do that. I right. But they've always done this, and I think that you see this joke from Giannis because he's a joking type of guy. But what is true is if they don't make it, I think out of the second round this year, I do think you're going to see some significant changes. Now, is that Doc? I doubt it because, like you said, they're already paying 3 coaches, and I think the way they brought him in. I mean, I've said this off air. If you fire Doc after this year, now you're becoming one of the more dysfunctional organizations in the NBA because you got rid of the guy who brought you the title. And for Adrian Griffin, you fired him halfway through the season. You brought Doc in, you fired him after a season and a half. So you can't do that. Having said that, I think if they don't make it out of the second round, everybody not named Giannis or Dame is on the table. Every single person not named Giannis or Dame is on the table. And
I don't know if Dame ain't on the table if they don't make it out of the second round. I'm trying not to be doom. I do think again, if you're healthy, you should. You really should. Even if you're not, if you just have Dame and Giannis together, they got. I think there was I think Grant Hill said it on the broadcast today. Giannis and Chris together I think it was like the last 23 postseason games for the Bucks together combined. They've played 3 games combined. Giannis and Chris together, which I mean, it's tough to win when that's the reality of the situation.
I don't think we're going to have that situation this year, man. I don't think that second round is even going to be in the conversation, man. Like I said, it's a parade down Wisconsin Avenue. I look forward to celebrating with my brothers and putting on my Bucks championship 3 times now. The crazy thing about it, though, when you think about it, man, we're still paying Booty this year, man. Budenholzer's getting a check. I think he's getting 7 this year. Griffin's getting 4 this year, plus Doc's contract. So Doc's not going anywhere. Like this national media doesn't want Giannis in Milwaukee. But the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, and I'm not talking about you two guys, and I'm not talking about a lot of the people on the YouTube chat because we got a lot of Milwaukee lifers in that joint. Shout out to my guy Daniel. He's 44. He's been in the mill forever, so he knows it. It's different when you watch these stories in the Disney movie and Thanasis couldn't get over here and his entire family comes. Like Giannis didn't grow up like us folks in America, and that loyalty getting that family over here. I think he doesn't leave Milwaukee until Milwaukee doesn't want to rock with him. And I just, my last point on this joint, you look at the boy Ryan Braun for the Brewers. They tried to get him up out of Milwaukee forever. It's a certain different affinity once you cross them city lines, them county lines, and I think both y'all brothers can attest to it. Us Milwaukee folks, we love a little bit differently.
I don't disagree with you. I think Giannis has a supreme sense of loyalty to Milwaukee, to the Bucks, for them, like you said, for all the reasons that you mentioned. But we saw Giannis kind of lay his hand down, be a little heavier than we've seen him in the past. And that's what got Drew Holiday up out of Milwaukee and what ended up bringing Dame to Milwaukee. You heard the Bradley Beal comments. Talked about it last week with Bradley Beal and Chris Milton and whether Chris would have been on the block. And how true that was, we don't know. But I think Giannis, above all, wants to win. I think he wants to be in a situation where he's going to win. But I do think, to your point, as long as the Bucks are committed to winning, I think he said this in the past, if the Bucks committed to winning and they show that they're committed to winning, I think he stays in Milwaukee. But you're not gonna be able to Steph Curry him. I don't think you're gonna do this again. They got a lot of championships. I don't think you're gonna Steph Curry him and we're gonna start over and do a rebuild. I don't think he will. I just do not think he's gonna sit around and do that. But if you continue to show strides that you want to be a playoff team, that you want to be a team that competes for championships, I think he's gonna be right there along for the ride with you, and we'll see kind of how that shakes out and how that plays out. What you got? What you got, JC?
Hey man, not sure something you said, but it's all right. We good. We good.
What I say?
We good.
No, it's nothing you said, man. I'm just,
What I say? I missed something.
Brody crazy in the chat, man.
Oh man, like, chat. He's going off. Speaking of chat, let's go to Twitter real quick, because we did get a lot going in for Twitter. At BZ in Dallas says he was at the game, 80 points sitting on the bench. Doc getting a final look at his backups. Using preseason for what it is. Hope everyone can stay healthy this year. At Kayla Ann says this roster is slightly better than last year, but man, our bench stinks. We go as far as Giannis takes us. Hopefully that's a chip. When you say the bench stinks, I mean, again, your starting group and then your sixth man. I don't necessarily agree with that. Your sixth man is Bobby Portis. Right after that, you have Taurean Prince, who we know can play defense. After that, you have you have DeLon Wright, who's going to come in and play the point guard, and another defender who is a little more youthful, who's more athletic than a Patrick Beverly or a type of player like that. So I think you got 8 guys that you like, and then depending on, can you count on one more? Pat Connaughton, AJ Green, somebody come in and play. I mean, I think, again, are you deep where you can go 10-11 like the Boston Celtics? Again, admittedly, no, you're not. Like, you don't have those type of guys that are just, you just put anybody in and blow people out, on random nights like Boston was doing last year. And like I think they're going to be able to do this year. But yeah, your top 8, I mean, you could, because Giannis is that lead dog, you can run those horses with anybody and compete. So I disagree with the bench as a whole not being good. But maybe if you're trying to say your 9, 10, 11 guys aren't good, yeah, I'll give you that. But those, in a playoff game, you're only running 8, 9 anyway. So, I mean, that's what you need, right? I mean, that's where I think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think having the options is important too. And we've already talked. I mean, Trey, do you really want everybody 34 and up having to play 30 minutes a night for 70 games?
Well, no, not for 70 games, but I'm just talking about in the playoffs. That's what matters is the playoffs. I mean, if you drop some in the regular season, you drop some. But I mean, I'm talking about playoffs. Yeah, I'm running 7, 8 guys if I got to, and I'll deal with whatever happens after that.
Yeah.
I'm not losing because I'm not losing because Andre Jackson Jr. I'm not losing because of him. I'm just saying, like, those ain't, I'm running my guys.
I mean, yeah, you could run 7, 8 guys in the playoffs, but it'd be nice if you could run 9 or 10. It'd certainly be nice if you could run that. Be nice if you had that depth. You had them back up in the playoffs too, right? Like I would die on that hill. But I agree with you. Yeah, most teams are going to have 7, 8 man rotation in the playoffs, and then there's spare minutes here or there. So somebody may get a handful, but I'd like it if we had a deeper rotation. But very few teams in the NBA, I think, do.
I think our rotation is super deep because I think the thing that will make these guys on the bench a lot better is playing with a Dame or a Giannis on the floor. And I think that's going to upgrade a lot of that bench stuff that we have. I mean, Bobby's going to get buckets. And will he play defense for Doc Rivers? I think he will. I think Doc is his kryptonite to unleashing the Superman and the folk hero of Milwaukee County that he is, man. And look, man, this regular season is practice for me. Now, y'all gonna have to calm me down during the regular season when I'm finna jump off the deep end and be like, oh my God, we just lost to the, I don't even know who you want to insert, Charlotte Hornets by 20?
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna be at that one.
It for sure. But as long as we get in there, we're not in that play-in, that's all I care about. Like, that seeding don't mean nothing to me. We done been to 1 seed, got bounced. We done been to 2 seed, got bounced. Been to 3 seed, got bounced. So it's time just to hoop for the postseason, man. And shout out to Shorty that said the bench was trash. And I ain't gonna tell you. I'm never gonna tell you your take is wrong. I'm just gonna tell you I don't agree with it because I feel like we got enough, man. If Pat is your 9, Ajax, then that's all we need Ajax to be is what he was last year. If Pat's your 9, correct me if I'm wrong. Energy dude.
And you can also tell people that takes it wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with that. At Go Mike J, Go says 9 second-round picks for Nico and Crowder. You can buy them, and who cares? Second rounders anyway. You are seeing the result of that thinking. Can't use picks to upgrade either through trades or the draft. So basically saying that John Horst wasted, these second round picks on some of these players, especially like I said, like a Jay Crowder who hasn't turned out. At KJBD11 says Giannis better stay in Milwaukee forever because this team is screwed for a long time if they ever have to rebuild. It is impressive how little young talent they've been able to accumulate all these years. At Drew Barron just says, hard to build a youth movement when you can't draft effectively. No wonder the Bucks are one of the oldest teams. At my guy JW says, Mavs top 3 seed in the West. Okay. And then Justin MKE, just one MKE says, basketball season so long. Want to see improvement as the season goes on. I'll just do one more. At GA_hoop says Bucks gonna have to go deep into the playoffs this season, especially after the comments Giannis made yesterday. He clearly knows what's at stake. So again, a lot of good comments coming our way as we as we keep this thing rolling here. My last question before we go to a look around and kind of take this wherever you, I guess, kind of wherever you want to. And you guys mentioned Doc Rivers. What do you think he implements? This is his first real year with the Bucks. Like, what is the difference year one or year, however you want to say, half of one, whatever you want to say, to having a full training camp, full year with the Milwaukee Bucks? Like, what do you see from Doc Rivers? A lot of people obviously don't, I won't say they don't like Doc Rivers, but a lot of people think he's, overrated as a coach. You get a lot of that, but do you have you come around at all on Doc Rivers? I will say, even though I'm skeptical of Doc Rivers, I like him. Like I his personality, like I like his personality. He comes across. I mean, again, I know he lies a little bit to the media, but what coach doesn't? But I do like his personality. I think again, it's just a question of can he get the buy-in? Can he get the guys to do what they need to do? And again, at the end of the day, they've just got to perform. He does seem like more of a player's coach than maybe Adrian Griffin, but what do you think the big differences are? What do you think he does? He's talking about revamping the defense. What are you guys seeing and expecting from Doc Rivers in year 2?
Really, for me, one thing I expect to see was what he did last year, going down the line and telling everybody, this is your role. This is what I need from you. And doing that from the jump, setting the tone from the beginning. So guys start the season knowing, this is my role. This is what I need to do. And seeing guys do that, I want to see that. I want to see Doc, man, play the young guy. Give the young, I mean, let's hope they look better than they did tonight, but give the young guys some chance. Like help them develop. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of seeing first round pick after the first round pick just not work out. Let AJ Johnson play if he can. Now we already talked about it. He's in the muscle milk crew. Protein shake in the morning, protein shake at night. Y'all know, some of y'all play college sports. Y'all already know that routine when the coach tell you got to gain a few LBS. Right, so we know about this, but let him play. If he's going, give him some run. I want to see him do that. But the other thing I want to see Horst do, I want to see Horst make a move. If Marjon's not going to be there, then trade him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Don't stop. Like let's not hang on to guys because of pride. It's just like a toxic relationship. Guys, they want to break up with their lady, but they don't really want to because they don't want nobody else dating. Hey, just like let's let that go. Let's see that part ways. Other thing I want to see Doc do though. Man, we have talked about this pick and roll with Giannis. Can we see it? Can we see them? Can we figure out this pick and roll, this pick and pop? Can we get that chemistry, that synergy between Giannis and Dame, killing people with that half court off? Can we do that? That's what I really want to see out of Doc too.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about Doc Rivers. He a classmate of mine. Shout out to my auntie Angela.
Wait, hold on. Rewind that. Doc is classmate of yours?
My auntie Angela.
Oh, okay. I thought y'all was going to say, what class you and Doc? Y'all was in quantum physics?
I appreciate that. I feel like you upgraded me, man. I'm going to be a great salesman tomorrow.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But no, man, so, like, I feel like Doc get a bad rap, but Doc never had no dogs like a Giannis and a Dame. And I think Dame is the hungriest dog on the block right now. And one thing that we're failing to realize as a Bucks culture is Dame came in terrible shape last year.
It's true.
It's talked about everywhere. He's in the best shape of his career at 30 whatever. Like, I wish I could have been in the shape he was in when I was 25 and this brother is right now. I'm not worried about Doc. I think Darvin Ham being on that bench, I know we get a lot of hate on Twitter and stuff like that from those Laker fans as far as Darvin Ham being trash. But Darvin Ham was like, whatever the most toxic relationship you could have, Darvin Ham was put in that and tried to make it into a great relationship. That's not going to happen. I think this is our year. I'm a homer, so I might say that every year.
I love the positivity. I love it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I really like Bobby Portis about to have the best year of his career. He's 6th man of the year this year. Go ahead. Rewind the tapes. You got me on there saying it. Bobby Portis gonna cook. I can't tell you about these young boys because the young boys don't show up. Hey, man, y'all all seen State Property, right? Movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they tell the young boys if you ain't showing up? Go roll up. That's what they're going to have to do. Roll up to Europe.
Listen, you're 100% right. And again, I love the positivity on Bobby Portis and what's gonna happen. I feel like you're always positive. We'll see how this goes throughout the year about the positivity and what this looks like from game to game because it's gonna be a long year. It's gonna be a fun year for the Bucks. And again, I think because I just try to remember like last year there was so much negative energy from like game 10 on from that first article that came out that dropped about my guy, Dr. Griffin. There was just so much negative energy that came. So we'll see. I think people are going to have a lot of strong feelings instantly about this basketball team and where they are and what they're going to look like. But ultimately, like your boy Daniel Joseph says here, he's pumped. We got Dame. We got the Freak. This is our year. And again, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. There really is no reason why it shouldn't be. Okay, let's do. Let's take a look around the NBA. Take a look around what's going on all over the place. Bucks again lose 109-84. The Lakers and Suns are on TNT right now. 56 all. Lakers Suns. Let's see what Bronny doing. Let me see if Bronny done anything. Oh, he hadn't gotten the game yet. Damn. Okay. I'm just saying.
Leave Bronny James alone. Leave that man alone.
The Clippers are up 19-8 over the Sacramento Kings, and the Pacers won tonight 121-116 over the Charlotte Hornets. Nuggets 132-126 over the Timberwolves. Thunder 104-99 over the Hawks, and the Rockets win 129-107 over the Spurs. Light Skin Justice in the building. What up? Yeah, and then I guess I look at the other what's going on Amazon Prime. I know it's a terrible football game going on right now between the Saints and the Broncos. Wow, 26-3 Denver up on the New Orleans Saints. So that is rough as well for those boys if you are a New Orleans Saints fan. What else? I didn't have what else did you guys want to get into? Tony Bennett retired from UVA. And I had a discussion with your boy Butchie, Brian Butch, on Twitter because he's legends of the game. This is the only thing I would say. Legends of the game, are retiring. They've got to get a handle on this. Listen, if Nick Saban and Tony Bennett and any other coach in America can't handle what's going on, can't handle young boys getting paid, can't handle the fact, because this is what's happening right now. The issue is they have lost control. I agree because we got to get this Butcher. We got to get this under control. What do you got to get under control? Again, do I think there should be some parameters around something? Sure, I'll give you that. But this is the best college football. I'm not even a huge college football fan. This might be the best college football season I've seen in a long time. And why I think some of that is because you have even more parity. You have that guy who you have a lot of these roster flips and turn. I like it. I enjoy it. Again, do you have guys that are staying places for 3 or 4 years and we only one? No, you don't have that. You have a lot of you have a lot of turnover. You have a lot of questions, and I think some people who true college sports enthusiasts they don't enjoy it. But again, these guys should be paid. You don't have control over them. And again, if you're a coach and you can't understand that, get with the times and get out. I mean, if you get out. Get out. That's all. Get out. That's it. And so, no disrespect. Tony Bennett, again, legend, all that. Nick Saban, legend, all that. If you don't want to adapt to what's happening now, leave.
And look, it takes a certain level of self-awareness to say, you know what? This ain't me. I'm good. See Nick Saban last year. See Coach K the year before.
Yeah.
It takes a certain level of self-awareness to see Roy Williams the year before, right? Like, it takes a certain level to say, I see where this is going. You know what? I'm sitting across from a young man here who's hungry to make it to the league. But you know what? He got $5 million in his pocket. And then he's probably got an insurance policy for draft position if something happens to him too. And not only does he have $5 million in his pocket, but he has 50 schools hitting his agent or his advisor, telling them, hey, we pay you $5 to come here. We'll pay you $5. And so college coaches, old school coaches are struggling because it is a true open market. It is a true free market for competition for the labor supply, right? It 100% is. And yeah, that's a lot because you can't do what you used to. Some guys are about program development. Who the hell is about program? What? You're not gonna recruit a kid and say, yeah, 2 years we good. He gonna be straight. We gotta put some muscle on him. Nobody's taking on projects anymore because you know what's gonna happen to that kid that you bring in and you redshirt and you put 20 pounds of muscle on. He gonna ball out in the spring and he gonna hit that transfer portal and he's gonna go somewhere else already developed with some more cash in his pocket and keep this thing pushing. I mean, do I love it? No, because I do think that you got to get some parameters, like you said, parameters around these contracts, the structure. The situation at UNLV was objectively goofy. That can't happen. There's a lot of issues here, but a lot of coaches just that you got to break up with that old line of thinking. Hey, I'm gonna have this guy 5 years. If I redshirt him one, he'll be here 4 years. Like, no, players are leaving, and you know what? The hardest part is coaches are like, oh, I'm a big relationship guy. I'm a big recruiter, right? Well, listen, you can be a relationship guy. You can be a recruiter. Cut the check. Cut the check. Your life gets easier if you cut the check. And coaches who can't understand it, what's amazing to me, too, is, UVA is an ACC school. They got money. Like, what's the problem? Like, cut the check, right? Is it? And the other thing, though, that I'll say, and I'm going to let you go too, Justin. I will say that knowing players are getting millions of dollars as freshmen and sophomores here, kids in high school know this too. And kids in high school now, some states have passed legislation where you can get NIL deals in high school now. Yeah. So this is a bit wild, but you got to adapt. And if you can't adapt, get out the way for somebody else who can.
So retiring on October 17th is crazy with the season getting ready to start up in a few weeks. But I mean, shout out to Tony Bennett, but it's a typical UW Green Bay Phoenix mentality to, bow out before the season even starts because you're not good enough. Oh, got a couple credits from UW Milwaukee, man, Stack good days like Bart Lundy says. But we're gone past the days, and, shout out to the legend Bo Ryan, just went into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame or the Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame. And those days are done. You're not developing a guy from a Frank Kaminsky who walks on all the way to an NBA draft pick that we've had. The real travesty in this thing, and I don't really care about Tony Bennett. I mean, the system that he ran at UVA was kind of archaic, and you're not getting those big, super athletic kids to come there. I mean, the last legitimate good player we could say is what, Malcolm Brogdon? Unless
your boy in the league right now just got drafted.
Hold on, Malcolm Brogdon was a UVA guy?
Yeah,
he was a UVA guy. 5-year UVA guy too.
Yeah, your boy in the league right now.
Master's degree.
Who my man? Hold on. I keep going.
Diakite.
No, not
Blonde
him.
Hair.
Not him.
Well, he's another UVA guy. But I mean, I think the biggest travesty about the whole thing, right, is that the fact that his father, Dick Bennett, is not in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. He deserves to be there more than anybody, in my opinion. But, I'm just a Homer Wisconsin kid that grew up that loves everything Wisconsin except for the UW Green Bay Phoenix that, the boy played for or whatever. But that's okay. I mean, but the other thing with the look around and knee, man, this top 100 thing, man, like, it's just been like festering in my chest, man. Like, I'm upset.
Today we're talking.
My bad. The guy what I was looking at, because I was looking at the guy Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn, rookie for Phoenix, who John Horst could have drafted. But go ahead about the top 25. I mean top 100.
So I look at this thing, man, and my boy K Mid, I know he down there like 65, 64, 61, something like that. I've been listening to a lot of stuff, national radio, local Wisconsin radio. They talking about, Middleton is where he is because he's been hurt, etc. We still got Kawhi, top 15.
Yeah.
We still got Paul George, top 20. Joel Embiid, top 10. Like, I don't know why K Mid doesn't get the respect that he deserves. But all the folks in Milwaukee that, got that negative stuff to say about him, remember, Giannis had the same injury that Jordan Love had this year and played and dropped 50 chicken nuggets on the Phoenix Suns, and that's why we had a parade in the city.
Yes.
We don't get there if there's no Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday.
That's true.
We'll never forget you, Drew, but, good riddance. I don't like this. And Dame Lillard is like 24, and Giannis is 3 behind Joker and Luka Duka. I don't know, man.
Well, let's. So in 2023, Chris Middleton was 46 on this same poll. He was 63, number 63 this year. In front of him, KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. In front of him, I just want to name a couple guys and just yes. Do you agree with this? I'm just naming a couple. Josh Hart better than Chris Middleton.
No.
Okay.
What number was he?
Josh Hart was 61. Alex Caruso.
Absolutely not.
Alex Caruso.
You don't even have to finish that name. Anybody named Alex? No. Stop it.
Okay. Guy we just saw tonight, Derek Lively.
No.
He's a 56. 56 center for RJ Barrett.
Stop it.
So I'm trying to figure out where you get to where you tell me where he should be. How about OJ and Anunoby?
No, now you're just offensive.
He's a 51. I'm just trying to see where we get. Okay, so
he's not even the best player from his continent.
I'm just trying to figure out where and neither is Chris. But I'm trying to figure out. I guess I totally get where you're coming from. I agree. I think he is. I think 63 is a little far back. I do think he probably should be somewhere he should be right around 50 or so. My issue, it is the injuries. Like and then you coming in with 2 ankle surgeries. Now again, I agree with Kawhi. Kawhi, same deal, a lot of injuries. And he's out indefinitely. Doesn't sound like he's even ready for the season, which is crazy. We should have known something was up when they sent him home from the for the Olympics. But again, injuries are what tears him apart. But like I said, he averaged basically 25 in the playoffs last year, and that's what the Bucks are hoping for, is that he can bring some of that magic and stay healthy and not have to ramp up for 40 games into the season.
Read them dudes in front of Dame, man. Who's in front of Dame? Dame 25, ain't he?
I gotta get the list. Hold on, let me get the list back. List back. Go ahead, JT. While I grab the list.
No, look, I think people outside of Milwaukee are disrespecting Chris Middleton. I think they have for his entire career. Chris Middleton is one of the more underrated players we've probably seen in the last decade or so by far. It is sad that Chris Middleton back in the 60s, I understand there's injuries, but again, you talked about Kawhi still being top 15, and Kawhi is always hurt. The only difference between Kawhi and Chris Middleton is really that I think Kawhi at one point was an absolute superstar in the NBA. And I think at this point, everybody still wants to make Kawhi an absolute superstar, even though he has not really played up to that level in, 5 years or so. But I'm curious as to who all is in front of Dame, because even though Dame had a down year, and I'm going to say this too, because Bucks fans know this outside of here, doesn't. Dame was going through some things mentally last year. It was his family. There's a lot there, and he was not physically in shape too. And that is
whose fault is that? No, my question whose fault is that?
Listen, I understand where you're going from, but I'm not assigning fault here. What I'm saying, though, is that because of that, in this offseason, Dame had two things that he had to do that he hasn't probably had to do in a long time. And one, that's getting better physical shape. He was training with David Goggins and was doing a ton of I mean, you saw the videos, you saw the workout videos. I think he trained with David Goggins with like 16 sessions or something. Like, he was working out there too. But the other thing that he had to do was get his mind right, and I think Dame has done that too. So I wholeheartedly expect to see a lot more vintage Dame this year, because I think those things. I think he's set up for success coming into the season, and I think off the court is better for Dame too.
Well, and I'll just say but again, those are self-inflicted things. He's got to prove it. He's the one that wanted out, that wanted to get out of Portland, didn't get to Miami, didn't have his diet right, couldn't get in the gym because he knew he was going to get traded. Then I'm not saying whose fault, but got divorced. Those are, if somebody's making a list and you tell me all the excuses. Everybody got excuses. So, I mean, that's all I'm going to say to that. Dame goes to 23, which to me, 23, it sounds about right. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that for his talent, but I'm just saying for what you have to show it, right? Like, I get your potential, but what you have to show it. So, Dame finished at 23. Kawhi was in front of him at 22. Paul George is in front of him at 21. You like Paul George there?
Paul George over Dame? I don't know about that. I'm going 60-40 Dame there. Even last year, nah, I don't like Paul George in front of Dame.
I have a question about this guy at 20, but I do think it makes sense in theory, but he only played 9 games last year. John Morant was at 20.
Absolutely not.
You don't think John Morant's better than Damian Lillard?
How long has it been since we've seen John? How long? Was it been 3 years since we've seen John Morant be that dude?
I'll give it to you, but again, that's I'll give it to you. But we know what he do. 19, Tyrese Maxey. You putting Tyrese Maxey over Damian Lillard?
Tyrese Maxey played very well last year.
Yeah,
Tyrese Maxey played very well last year. It was his breakout year. He put that Sixers team on his back. He did. Tyrese Maxey played very well last year. But saying he's a better player than Damian Lillard, I still think is a bit of a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch. But Tyrese Maxey is very, very good. I got to put some respect on his name.
I think we all agree. There's no way you don't agree with me on this one. Donovan Mitchell is 17. Donovan Mitchell's better than Damian Lillard.
Stop.
No, John. There's no way you're about to tell me that Donovan Mitchell's not better than Damian Lillard.
Keep going.
No,
Who's
I'm
16?
just being honest. Donovan Mitchell.
Who's 16?
I'm just saying, Donovan Mitchell. That's 16.
Who's
Tyrese
16?
Halliburton. Your boy Hallie is 16.
Now we really playing. Okay, now they really playing.
Can I say
I get
one
it, the
thing?
Pacers.
Dame, from his words, was fat and out of shape.
That's his fault. I can't.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I can't put him higher on the list because I was fat. Put me lower. No.
Not disagreeing, but his fat and out of shape year, he's 24.3 points a game and 7 assists and 4.4 rebounds. So his worst year is some of these dudes' best years.
It gets you 23. And I appreciate Sholo Man says Spider was doing everything in that Celtics series before he got hurt. Y'all, I'm telling y'all are disrespecting. And I'm not even a huge Donovan Mitchell fan.
And I'm gonna keep disrespecting Donovan Mitchell. I'm gonna keep this. Right. I am that cousin that wear these shoes in your house. Yes, I'm gonna keep disrespecting Donovan Mitchell. That's what I'm gonna keep doing.
I do think after we get to 50, like Devin Booker, we all know he's better than Damian Lillard. That's not even a thought. You don't have to squint your face or nothing. No, Devin Booker's better. And I'm not a Devin Booker fan either. He's objectively better than Damian Lillard at this point in his career. And we're not doing this.
Better at flopping.
Last year, but maybe not this year.
Maybe not this year. But if I had to rank out, and then
last year, but maybe not this
year. Okay, we're good on Jaylen Brown, right? We're not going to argue Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's better than Damian Lillard. Oh, my God. The man just won a championship. He was the finals MVP. Oh, we're not doing this. He was the Finals MVP, and he was Eastern Conference Finals MVP over Jason Tatum. We're not doing this. No, I'm not gonna let. No, we're not doing. Y'all are being some homers right now. We're not doing this. Yes,
I
Jay.
think it's a lot easier when I think it's a lot easier when you playing next to
Oh
when you
my.
playing next to Jason
Next to
Tatum.
Giannis,
You
is it
got
like what?
Jrue
It's a lot
Holiday.
easier when we play next to Giannis.
You got Pritchard. You got all the role
Pritchard.
players
I just
there, and
said
all you got to
Giannis.
do
I'm
is
mentioning
all you
Pritchard.
got to do your spot. I
I
mean,
said
like,
Giannis. Isn't it easier to play
Can
next to
we-
Giannis than Peyton Pritchard?
Can we pause on Pritchard? Like, we
I
should pause on
mean,
Pritchard
like,
forever. He's a pause.
you would think it was easier to play next to Giannis, but that was still an adjustment for Dame. You would think it'd be easier to play with Giannis, but that still didn't click the way we definitely did. I mean,
I'm hearing a lot of excuses.
look, they're like butts. Everybody's got them, and they all clap.
Yeah.
Keep going after Jalen Brown.
Y'all, you got to be good on Jalen Brunson at this point in his career. Jalen, he's just better. Jalen Brunson carried the Knicks. He's just better.
He's super hype.
I would love to say, I hope Damian Lillard is better than Jalen Brunson this year. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that Damian Lillard can go out there and prove all of this. But if you tell me based on what I saw last year, John, but this is last
based on last year, you got to give Jalen Brunson. I'll give you that. Based on last year, yes. Not better overall player, not better. Based on last year, okay, I'll stop fighting you on Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, because this is your top list going into this year. So what I'm saying is, John, that's how I know you got to agree with me. We argued with Dame Bros all year long about how poorly Damian Lillard was playing, and now you're gonna come back and try to tell me he's better than all these guys. No.
Yes.
Well, again, he may be overall, but he didn't show it.
Right.
That's what he did not show it.
Well, and that's the problem, because when I think Damian Lillard, I think of Damian reputation, I think of overall body of work, I think of all the highlight plays that we've seen Dame make over this. So that's the issue. If you're talking about last year, yes, I think Jalen Brunson was better. I think Devin Booker was better, last year. Now, have they had better overall career? No, not at all. But last year, those two I can get there. I can get there on those two.
What about?
I don't agree.
Go ahead.
I don't agree with that, but I do agree with Show Low Man that says from what he's hearing, nobody's better than Dame. Great statement. Okay, next.
Yeah, it's because that's a crazy. Coming at, did y'all? Yeah, I mean, Victor Wembanyama. Y'all gonna tell me he's better than Victor Wembanyama now? Y'all gonna tell me Damian Lillard's better than
It's just
Victor?
a different position. The stuff that Victor was doing.
Ranking the players. You're picking Victor. Oh my God, y'all are not serious.
Victor was better last year. I said Victor was better than him last year. Okay.
Victor don't even got an album yet. He's a mixtape legend.
Fine.
Like, get out of there. Get an album.
Y'all are killing me, man. Y'all are killing me.
Hey,
with
real
this
quick, before you go to the next one, hey, none of them boys you named in front of Dame pulling Glorilla. That's all I'm gonna say.
I bet they are. I bet they are.
Well, I think Brunson had a thing for Iggy Azalea, so maybe his preference is a little bit different than Glow.
Maybe. But
I'm saying allegedly, I seen Jalen Brunson and Iggy Azalea exchanging contact information at the Knicks game. I can send y'all a video if y'all want.
Yeah, and I like to say, go ahead.
The only thing I keep it a buck. All them dudes you naming in front of Dame, they better than Fat Dame. In shape Dame, guess
what? And guess what? We're gonna be able to see. Because again, I go to the top 10. You can't even argue. Anthony Edwards better than Damian Lillard. Sorry.
Absolutely, yes.
Kevin Durant better than Damian Lillard. Sorry. Joel Embiid, even though he's injured, better than. What'd you say?
Well, look, Kevin Durant took the Suns to the same spot Dame took the Bucks to.
That's fine, but he's a better player right now than Damian Lillard. Joel Embiid, again,
absolutely not.
There's no question about this.
Absolutely not.
There's no question about this. LeBron's an interesting one. I think he's a little overrated for where he is, but that's just me. Steph, come on, we're not questioning. Jason Tatum, we're not questioning. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, we're not questioning. Giannis, Luka, and Joker, we're not quite. So I think Dame's probably. I actually think he's probably about accurately ranked somewhere in that 20 to 23 range. I think that's appropriate for him. You guys think he's a top 10 player in the NBA, and let me tell you this:
I expected him to be higher than that this year.
And to your point, if he is, the Bucks have no excuse to not win a championship. You're telling me that's a championship. If you have 2 top 10 players, you should win a championship. Like you have zero excuses. Chris Middleton can be out. You should win a championship. That's what you're telling me.
I think realistically, excuse me, Dame breaks that top 15. Dame breaks that top 15 this year. I would throw some money behind that. I think Dame breaks that top 15 this year.
Okay. I say top 10.
Well,
he breaking the top 10, and K-Man gonna break the top 30.
Well, we will keep tabs on that. We'll figure this out. We'll let this
And
thing.
Brooke Lopez 93.
All right.
Brooke was 93, by the way.
Well, and Brooks be top 100. Shoot the ball. All right, fellas. Let's say this, man. At the let's wrap this thing up. Next time we see, I know we'll probably have some videos that come out before but the next live show will be Wednesday night against the Philadelphia 76ers on the road. No Paul George. But you do have two bad men, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, that you're going to have to go up against. We saw this last year, first game of the year, Bucks. You saw Damian Lillard go nuclear in the fourth quarter. Thought that was going to be a precipice of things to come, and it was kind of shaky on up. Dame did have some great moments in the fourth quarters. Remember he hit the shot. I think it was against Sacramento, game winner. He had a couple. He had some real nice late game heroics for the Bucks. But we didn't see that consistent pace, that consistent level. Giannis, you want to see him even in that first game against Philly last year. It was really he just came on late in the fourth quarter. You want to see that. I mean, you want to see a steady diet of Giannis, Dame, pick and roll. You want to see this team play defense. You want to see maximum effort. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of eyes watching how the Milwaukee Bucks look and how they play from the moment that ball is tipped off. Again, I really briefly, because we got to get out of here, but what are you expecting to see opening night, the Bucks next Wednesday? Again, we are 6 days away from the start of the NBA season with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll be, of course, live right here in the Cream City Crossover, taking your discussion points and everybody. But what are you looking for opening night against the Sixers?
I would love to see the Bucks show the Sixers there's levels to this thing. Get out there and absolutely ball out. I'd love to see Giannis come out with a vengeance. I'd love to see Dame come out and come out with a vengeance. Chris, if he's out there clicking, I want to see that pick and roll. I want to see these guys playing D. I want to see the new additions. I want to see Gary Trent Jr., Torian Prince. Like, listen, do what we brought you to come here to do. I want to see them. I mean, there's a lot that I want to see, but more importantly, I want to see us open with a win, because I always think it's much better to open the season with a win than a loss. And I mean, I know we'll probably cut some videos up and do some game previews there, but between now and then. But I want to see the Bucks come out of that with a W.
Yeah, man. So we on a anti-anything Philly diet for the next 6 days. So ain't no meat meal, ain't no cheesesteaks, ain't none of that stuff, man. Like, so what I'm looking for, I'm looking to see this bitch go crazy. Like, I need Bobby to step in and be Bobby. I need Pat to step in and be Pat, man. Like, we got to show our role players. But I'm more importantly looking to see AJ Green shoot the ball in the bucket, what we haven't seen in the preseason. We know Giannis going to be Giannis. We know Dame going to be Dame. I like what JT said as far as Gary Trent Jr. going crazy. Like, we just going to come out with a different level of energy, man. And we got to win this one for Doc, man. Shout out to the Milwaukee legend, Marquette legend. Let me be quiet before I get in trouble. I'll be quiet.
Okay. All right.
I'm about to say I'm going to go to the game, but then my wife may be listening to the post game downstairs. So I go up there with that Marquette 31 jersey on. I may have to live on one of y'all brothers' couches.
Right. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Be an extended stay in your city and on our couches when you're traveling.
Yeah, I feel
Big
it.
facts.
I feel it. Yeah, man, I do think, again, I will say throughout the regular season, games are not as important. We kind of talked about that. Record should not be important, but this opening one, man, you want to get that. You want to show Philly those important games. You want to go out and do that and win that. Quick Draw McGraw says Doc Rivers is definitely preaching the shot diet. No Giannis 3 so far. Brooke is passing up bad 3-point shots. Bobby Portis more catch and shoot. So what he's seeing from Doc Rivers so far. And again, man, this thing is going to be fun. It's going to be a long, long season. We're going to be here with you every step of the way at the Cream City Crossover. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend about the Cream City Crossover. We here just about, I think we did about 70 games last year, regular season, JT. So we'll see what we can do again this year. It's going to be fun. Man, if y'all hanging out with us preseason, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a fun ride as we start the regular season, get this thing rolling. The Cream City Crossover, a lot of good things coming on the horizon, on the way. Any final words after a 109-84 loss to the Dallas Mavericks? The preseason has concluded. Anything you guys got for us, fellas, before we get out of here?
Hey, man, just excited for the regular season to start. Let's go.
Fear the deer, baby.
Fear the deer. All right, Wednesday night, be back right here. The Cream City Crossovers. The Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Justin.
Don't take no Wood Nichols.